and just thinking about, I guess, the what ifs at that moment. I wasn't concerned about the jury at that point. I was focused on the judge.
Prison Stories 101, man. We got him back in the building, man. I got to say, welcome back, Hernandez Govan.
What it do?
Man, every time someone comes back, if you don't mind, just reintroducing yourself and let them know how much time you served overall.
Mr. Not Guilty. I love that name for some reason.
Yeah, it just sounds good.
Yeah, she just sounds good.
It rolls off the tongue.
For sure, most different. I did state fed time together, about 8.
I like when you say Mr. Not Guilty because, in the Black community, everyone remembers OJ. And everyone tries to understand that feeling of when a man is looking at his life and you put your life in the hands of 12 random strangers who don't know you from nothing. But within a week or however long the trial is, they get to try to learn a lot about you, about this singular thing. When, man, you don't know all the good, you don't know my kids, my mama. How does that feel when you see, do you even look the jurors in the eye when that verdict's about to come down? Are you looking at the judge?
Manny, my lawyer, Manny Aurora, he instructed me not to look the jurors in the eye. I still found myself catching eye contact with a couple. I was just trying to, I guess, read the room. And I did catch eye contact. I don't think it was the right thing to do because it's like you could be in this seat that I was in. It could almost come off as me trying to intimidate one of the jurors. So I tried my best not to make that eye contact.
More so in the sentencing phase, in the verdict phase, they've already made their verdict. Do you choose to look at them then? Because you ain't gonna change the verdict. It's already put in.
Yeah, when I knew it was a verdict, it was so much going through my mind. Me looking at the jury was the last thing going through my mind. I was more so thinking about my son and just thinking about, I guess, the what ifs at that moment. I wasn't concerned about the jury at that point. I was focused on the judge.
Right, yeah, the judge. Yeah, that's one reading.
Yeah. That's who was calling. That's who was reading my verdict. So I was locked in on her.
When the not guilty words come out of their mouth, how quickly do you process it? And when I say process it, meaning how quickly does it register? And then what goes through your mind next? Like, I'm about to go home. I get to go see my kid. Or like, what goes through your mind immediately?
Yeah, that first not guilty, it hit, but I was, it came and went. I was concerned about the second count as well. So when I heard the second not guilty, it was an immediate rush. I knew I had my life back. And like I said, my main concern was my son, Nicholas. And I was just ready to restart my life, because it was at a standstill for, so to speak. Shit, if I wasn't incarcerated, I was on house arrest, the whole time. So it was a relief in a couple different areas, financially, just being able to move around, being able to try to, I guess, work on my image or whatever, so to speak, because the media, they did a hell of a job by running it in the ground and trying to make me be this monster, somebody that I'm not.
And you were facing, were you facing life or?
Yeah, I was facing life for each count.
Each count?
Yeah, I had three bodies. They gave me, and I don't know how it was 3 and it was only 2 people. Yeah, so they gave me conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. They gave me first-degree murder, and then they gave me attempted murder, which was on young Dolph's brother that was in the car with him. Keep in mind that I wasn't even on the scene when this happened, so I didn't understand how I was charged with first-degree murder. I get the conspiracy, but to actually charge me with first-degree murder, and by law in Tennessee, they can do that if they feel like the actions or whoever's actions played a part in that person's death. So that was the route. They don't normally take that route, but they do it, I guess, in cases like mine to try to nail a person to the cross. But right before trial, Manny, he filed some motions and they dismissed the count on Dolph's brother. And then I went to trial. If I would have kept my original attorney, I would have been going to trial on 3 bodies instead of 2, because they dismissed the 3rd one right before I actually started trial. So I only went on conspiracy for Dolph and 1st degree on Dolph.
I'm surprised and I'm interested as far as with it happening at Makitas Cookies, where there was other innocent employees inside, that were in the line of fire. How come they don't, and I'm just curious, why isn't that not attempted murder?
Exactly. It could have been. That's a great question. And I'm glad they didn't. That was just been more of an uphill battle for me to fight.
That is facts.
And I don't even know those people at Makitas Cookies. So didn't know Dolph brother for me to have a attempted murder charge on him. So yeah, it was just wicked.
One thing when they don't talk about enough is after you get the not guilty verdict, what is the processing situation to process you out the system? Like, is it just right after that they walk into the back room and cut cuffs off and you could go? Like, how does it work? Or is there paperwork? Or
man, when I got the not guilty verdict, my lawyer, I think I seen him. Everything was a blur, and so but I seen him off to the side. He signed a couple pieces of paper. Me personally, I didn't have to sign anything. I was free to go. And I just, but I stayed, and of course the news media, they wanted to interview me. So I, talked to them or whatever before I left out and went and got something to eat, with my close friends.
Yeah. Did you have a speech prepared? Like, were you ready to go at somebody when?
Like, so did I have a speech prepared for
for the media
for the not guilty verdict or whatever? No, I didn't. I didn't even think that far. Okay. I was just so concerned on, what they was gonna say. A lot of people felt like I knew that I was gonna be found not guilty, and I wish I did. I wouldn't have lost all the motherfucking weight that I lost. You know what I'm saying? And been stressed the hell out. But no, I didn't prepare anything, man. To be honest, I did. I was preparing for the worst. I had to get myself mentally, ready and prepared for, the worst, the what else, because if they would have came back with a guilty verdict, I still would have had some fight in me. And I was gonna fight to the end, just for my freedom as it relates for my son.